Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing today? So, Maverick is co-hosting, but he is laying next to me. He's such a sleepy boy lately. I couldn't even get him to jump up here at the beginning. This is my take two. I couldn't get him to jump up, so I'm just gonna let you know he's down beside me. So as you know, if you have seen previous videos, or at least one, maybe two, I am participating in a crochet along, a leading up to Halloween crochet along, the Sirdar crochet along. In fact, I did not get the kit, plural, or singular, not plural, but I started using from my collection of Joann's Big Twist yarn for the most part. I'm trying to think. Oh, there was one yarn that was a Walmart Mainstays, whatever yarn. I picked up in gray because I didn't have the lighter gray in Big Twist. It's just, even though it's a color I like to use, like if I have it, I'm like, ooh, I have gray, I could use that. I still don't think to like get it, you know? I don't know why. Not the point. Anyway, and then as you'll see as we go along, I was doing just the grape purple color, and I ended up deciding to use two different purples. We'll get into that in a minute. Now I did finish, as the title should imply, weeks 2 and 3 instead of updating you with 2, because 2 took me forever. 2 took me into week 3, because I only did like a little bit, and then I had stuff going on, and best of intentions to do a weekly update, but I didn't have that weekly update done. I didn't even have it started very well. So I played catch up in week 3, and week 3, it is week 4 now, just so I'm not confusing anybody. Like, this video should be coming out maybe Sunday, which would be the 17th or something like that, August 17th, 16th or 17th, and my days are even wonky here. The 17th, it should be the 17th of August. And at this point in time, I do have part 2 and 3 done. I just started part 4, which you won't see today because the video for part 4 would be out next week anyway. But that all being said, the point of that was, I'm going to show you week 2, but it's kind of difficult. You're going to end up seeing peaks of week 3 before I actually get into talking about week 3, because I did them all together. Like, week 3 was out before I finished week 2. And then I just dove into week 3 because I was afraid that wasn't going to get done. And really, that wasn't. Part 4 was out before I finished part 3. I know I'm just throwing out random numbers here right now. Trying to get us all through this because it is hot here and you guys want to get to the yarn, right? So, I'm surprised Maverick is even wanting to stay and lay right here because it's hot still. I thought it was supposed to cool down. The weather said I haven't been back out because, I mean, it's like 11 or 12 o'clock at night right now. The weather says it's raining. I haven't seen for myself, but I thought I heard it, which is why I checked the weather. Could have just peeked outside, but I didn't. Anyway, so let me see where we're starting today. What I'm going to try to do is fold it over because, all right, so the backgrounds was week 2. So not the embroidered face, but the pumpkin was week 2. The eyeball was week 2. The swirly was week 2. And then this should have been a Skullington skull. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. I was going to try to stick to the pattern. I like to stick to the pattern. Like, I'm not, like anal retentive about it or whatever, I guess, but obviously, but, I just didn't like it. So I made a candy. I hope you guys can tell it's a candy, and it does have a little bit of 3D-ness here because that's how I sewed it down. See, it's all sewn in. So that's one candy that I did. So we'll get back to the eyeball in a second because week 3 is an eyeball. Actually, I was going to show you, my candies are done in different colors, but this is the other gray one because it's the top and bottom of the blanket. And then everything else is, you know, as usual. And then I should have like pre-folded these is what I should have done to try to give you some reveal for week 3, but you know. So I got this done, and this is the first candy that I did. I did this one in the slime colorway of Joann's, and I thought it looked really cool, and it went with the trick or treat theme because it's, I think, yeah, it is called Trick or Treat, I believe. And that's definitely, for the week I'm working on right now, the middle panel, it says Trick or Treat. So, you know, it just, the candy goes in with the theme. So I liked it. I was happy with it. I'm still happy with it. And then do a little folding magic. You guys can just pretend I didn't get week 3 done yet to show you, I guess. But here was the other candy. Now, this began... The other ones are as normal. There's only 4 candies. Like, yes, in the light, you can see it. But this began my, oh my gosh, I'm worried because the middle panel is a purple background and it has a cauldron on it and it says trick or treat, and the trick and the treat and the cauldron are black. So I'm like, black on the purple? I don't know. Like, it's pretty. And close up or in bright light, yes, you can see it. But I was like, I don't know, you know, so I'm thinking it over, and I'm talking to a few people, and, you know, everybody is kind of like, yeah, it should be fine. But even the people I was texting, I felt like there was hesitation, and there was hesitation on my part too. So I was like, I don't know. I don't know. So that's where I was in limbo with that, right? Then we move into week 3. And, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's a lie. There's more week 2 to cover. They also wanted you in this week to sew these together, and they gave you the order to sew them in. So, like, the candies are just taking the place of the Skullington squares. But, you know, if I can avoid it, I'm not sewing. I'm not. I know I mention this every time, like in almost every video lately, but I always link below for you what I consider the best, like, gift I have ever given to the world. I know other people have done the same kind of video, so it isn't just me or anything, but it was my version of a continuous join, which I use as a continuous join as you go method also. Like, I do it the same way as in the video. In the video, it's for, like, if you have a ton of granny squares, and it shows you how to join all the squares in one go. But you can make them one at a time and still join them. You can do it with hexagons. You can do it with anything. My future endeavor is to make a video more on the continuous join as you go. But that is what I did here. So as I made them, I joined them. Let me see if I can unfold this. Fold it the other way so I can try to keep it suspenseful. But as you can see, like, this was another thing I changed about the pattern. Not much of a thing. We can get into it in a second, but what I wanted to show you was this. It's very flat, right? It is very flat. It's completely flat on this side. When we get to this side, it just looks like you've whip stitched over it. It's the perfect thing for me. Like, for me, I love it. Now, the quick difference, I don't even remember what they wanted you to do in the pattern. I think they just wanted you to, I don't remember how they did it, but I know I did it differently, but really, like, not a big deal differently. What I did was, when I was working, like, the green to square off the pumpkin, I chained right here, the 3 or 4, whatever it was, for the pumpkin stem, and then I just continued on. Just a way to keep your yarn continuous, keep it not messy. I don't remember if they wanted you to carry it through. I honestly don't remember, because I did it the first square and I was like, you know what, this is staying. So on to week 3 now. Now in week 3, that's when they wanted you to embroider. The mouth is embroidery. the eyes are applique for the pumpkins. The Skullington square would have been the same. They wanted you to embroider the nose, the mouth, and then make little appliques for the eyes. Didn't do that. You didn't do anything different to the circle, to the swirly circle, whatever you want to call it. And then the eyeballs were meant to have veins embroidered on. I did do that to one eyeball and I didn't like the way it looked, so I pulled it out. I felt like this was enough, you know, bloodshot. Oh my gosh. A thing of yarn fell onto my knee from down below because I was shaking my leg a little bit. Sorry if the camera was shaking. I didn't realize I was even doing it. And it ended up scaring me. Anyway, I have a future project under the table since this is a big kitchen table in front of me as a desk. Anyway, I didn't like it. So I pulled it out. All of my eyeballs now are, like I said, the red ring to me was enough like to make it spooky and bloodshot looking and irritated. And that's the way I like it. I just don't like the other one. Bye, Mav. He's had enough of me talking. He's going out to the couch. But so that's the way my eyeballs were. Also, while we were on the talk of making motifs or appliques, and embroidery, so the circles that we made that were previously white, and black in the middle, it kind of looked like a giant eyeball. We made the little bat ears and we made the bat wings. Now what they wanted you to do was make the wings, and you see mine are kind of sewn on, bent like in flight. They wanted you to make the wings and just sew it on here so that there was movement. We know from previous videos of mine that I cannot stand parts that stick out. I always tack them down, and I'm not doing that. So, so I sewed them all in. Now here's the orange one, and here's the green one, because they'll be in opposing. I don't remember offhand without looking at the pattern which one is which, but I know that I was happy with one facing one way, one facing the other, so that's the way I've kept it. People there's a Facebook group to like support the crochet along. They were complaining. Sorry, I'm gonna turn my light back on. Yay, motion sensor. They were complaining because they don't like the messy look on the back of the blanket. Well, some people were covering it up, like they would this is the back of mine. And yes, you can see the stitches, but they're so tight in. And my thought on it, like some people were making like whole circles to cover it up. So they're basically doubling their work by the time they sewed that on too. And they were making the blanket really bulky, which I have done before. And I'm not saying I don't like it, but I think not every blanket needs, like that was like a one-off for me. Maybe this will be a one-off for somebody else that way and realize they don't need every blanket to be so thick. I don't know. Maybe they're just so hateful of this that, I don't mean they're hateful people, but I'm saying maybe they hate this so much that it's worth doing it. For me, it was fine. Like I said, it's flat to it the way I sewed it in, nothing's sticking up. And yeah, you can see the outline of the bat, but honestly, what if you display it, are you going to display it like this or like this? If you cover up with it, aren't you most likely to cover up like this? I am. So for me personally, it was fine. So I sewed those on. And then we had to make the cat applique, which is like a shadow of a cat, because there was the same white circle with a gray ring, like it's like the rings around the moon kind of deal, like a full moon. So here's my cat applique. I really love these. I love the bats too, but I was really proud, and I positioned these so that the tail is to the outside, like this one's up in the top corner, the tail will be on the outside of the blanket. This one's at the bottom corner down here. The tail will be on the outside, so they're mirrored. I mean, they're also a little different. Like this one almost looks fatter, even though it's the same pattern, because his tail is shorter and more curled that way. And this one extends up here. They're different cats, but it's the same pattern and everything. The way that they had you working it, and even when I watched the lady's video, there was more of a gap right here. But on the finished product of the blanket, it was closed like mine, so I just sewed it closed. So if you're having that issue, the gap happens apparently, and you can just sew it shut. Like I said, that's what I did. And then that's the back. So I mean, yes, you can see the outline of the cat, but I don't personally care. I don't care. So you can see there, that's the grape color that I was talking about. It's still very dark. Like that against the black was still making me worried, you guys. The other part for this last week, week 3, is the borders around the sewn. So we're gonna pretend this is the new thing, right? It wasn't here before. This is what they call, I think they called it warts and stockings, or stockings and warts, because it's meant to be, you know, the striped stockings. If you've ever seen me at a concert, you know I buy these Halloween tights and I cut them and I sew them and I put armholes in them, and that's my sleeves. Like, I have a pink and black stripe, I have an orange and black stripe, I have a purple and black stripe, I have a green and black stripe, I have a yellow and black stripe, I have a bunch of different and black stripe, I have a white and black stripe. Yeah, I just, every Halloween, if I see a color, like I want to buy another purple one, because my purples were like my OGs. They were the first ones that I made, I think. And purple or pink were the first ones that I made. And I just need to, they're starting to, like, the purple are really showing it. I definitely wear it a lot, but they're starting to rip, which adds to the cool look, but eventually they're going to fall apart. Anyway, this wasn't about that. That's the witch's stocking. They're just double crochet stripes. Then here you added bobble stitches with your double crochets because it's like witchy warts. Okay, so that's one border. And that one you worked just attaching it to the strip of sewn squares. So like they're the right height for the most part. I just noticed they do kind of stick out a little bit right there, but you know what? That is not enough once you sew them together, which I guess I'll probably will end up sewing unless I figure something else out. Actually, I don't even need to sew. I would need to sew it this way, because this will connect to one of these squares over here. Anyway, this part, the next week or two, there's another border that has bobbles that are meant to look like, I think, pumpkins. So, I mean, that will straighten it out a little bit, or, you know, I can make these double crochet and these triple crochet if I need to, or, you know, whatever evens it out is not a big deal. And then I did the second one this way also. So I had both panels, both sides. Like this will be one side of the blanket, there'll be a whole middle, and then this will be the other side. So, and they're sewn on right. And I was terrified I was going to put a pumpkin or something upside down. I was really terrified, actually, because this is not, I think in the Sirdar, it's like rotated 90 degrees, because I think this part is like, I think it's sewn on like this. But the first one I sewed on like this, so I said, okay, I just have to make sure I sew all of them on like this and it won't bother me. So that's what I did. Just white facing up, whatever. So those are, these two panels, as far as I'm concerned, are fine. The only embroidery I did was the pumpkin, and yes, you can see it, but I am not about to make another pumpkin to cover that up. Like, it's not that big of a deal. There's only, like, maybe by the eyes you can feel a little bump of the knot, but I'm not that worried about it. I think it'll look fine. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, there are people that I know that don't even sew their ends in half the time. So, like, really, the fact that you can see some stitches, like, it would drive me nuts if I didn't sew my ends in. And again, I'm not judging. If y'all don't want to sew your ends in, don't sew them in. You do you. But I know it would drive me crazy. So that being said, the stitch part doesn't bother me. Like, in the long run, in my mind, like, in the long run, there are worse things, you know. Now, on to the cat, and we're going to talk about the color change adaptation that I made. Here is the cat stitch. What was that? I was going to brain fart. I learned this stitch a long time ago, and I made a blanket. I learned it from the lady that I always told you used to be on YouTube that I've learned to crochet with, the Crochet Geek, I think was her name. Not to be confused with Ginger. It's not the same person. This lady was on a really long time ago when I was first figuring out what YouTube was and learning to crochet and all that. Now, since I got worried about This is the grape color that we've been seeing. This is a swap out color. It's Hirschner's lavender. And I had an abundance of this because I plan to, when I use my neon colors, this is the neon purple, like the one that I want to use to mix up with some of the yarns. But I figured I could either have enough to add onto this blanket and do that, or they're still available. I can always get more, right? But this is more of a neon purple, which came with the kit. It was a Sirdar's own. I don't remember what brand they used, but I mean, that was their own pick, their own colors. And I think it's called electric purple or electric violet. But this one was, you'll see the black a lot better. So I decided to incorporate it on the cats so it didn't look weird just having that there in the middle like that. And those we had to put on. So I have two different purples, well, two different greens, sorry, like the slime green down here, which is yellowy green, and then this more neon green, which is green gecko. And then I figured if I had two shades of the green family, I could do two shades of purple. And like I said, introduce my other purple. So here's the grape, here's the lavender. And then since the cat is the very bottom and the very top on on this panel right here, you were supposed to sew it on underneath, which obviously I did that part right underneath. What I didn't do was sew it. What I decided to do was the last row was this row. Okay, so normally in the pattern down here, I'm just saying these are, you know, the extended puff stitch, whatever you want to call it, and then a shell next to it. Well, in the top, they had you do, to kind of flatten the panel out for sewing and such, they had you do the extended puff, and then these in the middle are single crochets instead of shells. They're just like 4 single crochets or 3 single crochets or whatever. I did the single crochets, and then I came back with one more row of single crochet, and I did the same join as this, the join as you go type thing. So I did that. Now, that was my answer for the one that everyone was like, well, I absolutely have to sew that on. No, you don't. No, you don't. So the other panel, I've seen other people do this, but also instead of sewing, I just single crocheted, instead of chaining and then having to sew that chain, I single crocheted across the top of this and then built off that as though it were my chain. Because, you know, same thing, right? And then this is how it didn't quite flatten out. Hopefully you can see it. I have a bit of a glare in my camera, but again, there's going to be another row up here of like the pumpkin looking bobble stitches and the gray, and that's going to straighten it out. It'll be okay. But I did the same thing. I did the lavender here and the grape here, along with the 2 different green family colors. So, which I know this one is more yellow, but it's slime and it's slime green. So I mean, whatever you want to call it, yellow, green, whatever. But yeah, I did this to the top of this one. And yeah. Now my concern that I might have to finagle something, this sews into or joins, however I do it, whatever I figure out. Like say this one goes here. It won't. It'll go here, I guess, because they won't do the black against the black. So if this goes here, I mean, it is for the most part the right length, but I don't know if you can see it against my shirt. Because of the nature of these stitches, I was trying to be really vigilant, but it ever so slightly right here pulls in. Maybe you can see it better against this, but then you don't have a straight edge to see. It just pulls in just a little bit. It kind of went back out up here. So I don't know, like I said, if I do like a continuous join, I might be able to like do single crochets and then maybe half doubles right there would straighten it out. Or maybe just doing the continuous join would kind of pull it, because honestly I like pull blocked it like at my computer desk when I was working on it, just hoping. I was like, it's probably fine. And then it may or may not be. So to be continued on the sides, but hopefully it will work out. So I think I'm all caught up. Well, so the last part of week 3, you were supposed to do the sewing that I just talked about, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm so sorry. My strap is not straight. I don't think I'm going to do that. Obviously, I didn't do it yet, and I don't think I will, because what they're having you work on this clue, this week, whatever you want to call it, is just, if you've seen the Sirdar, I'll try to remember to stick it up here, but I don't know that I will remember, to be fully honest. But the middle of it, like I said, it's purple. It's a purple rectangle. It says trick or treat. It's got a cauldron. That's all they're having you work on, because it's one decently sized piece of tapestry crochet, basically. And I kind of want to see now, and what they're going to do is they're going to do another border around that of like white background with like blood dripping, which is cool and all, but I just don't know if it's going to fit right, or if I'm going to have to add like an extra border to it, or to one of these, you know, to figure things out. I'd rather have the bigger pieces at play. Like maybe depending on how they do things, maybe I will still sew on the white and blood border to the tapestry crochet, and then see how it fits amongst these, and then crochet it together, sew it together, whatever I feel the need to do. I'm assuming you have to do all that before we do the pumpkin border. I hope so. Otherwise I'll be leaving the pumpkin border till the end, and then after the pumpkin there's the cobweb, and then that should finish it. So we'll see what order they do things in. But other than, you know, joining them into the empty square, this is my week 2 and 3 done, and I'm working right now on clue 4, week 4, whatever you want to call it. I've been calling them clues. Don't think that's what they're actually calling them, but whatever. Anyway, I think that about wraps it up. I think Maverick is getting tired of me in here talking so much, and I think I'm gonna let you guys go. So I will talk to you soon. I love you. Let me know if you're working on the crochet along also, or if you're doing Halloween-y things. You know, I want to hear about that. And all right, I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.